I think this is amazing. And you're actually the first company that I talked to that has this very clear approach regarding the future. And I think that's very unique. And it's clear to me that this can help these startups that you advise, that they can improve their product. But can you elaborate a little bit more on how this approach can really, let you stand out, let your company stand out from
Mhm.
others as well?
Yes, what we do is, when you usually talk to consulting companies which take care of these gender and next generation topics, then they go to HR. And that's really not offending against this approach. This is an approach which completely works, but it takes more time. And this approach we follow is, I call it front to end, because at the front you sell the products, and I also call it as a revenue approach, because you already see within a couple of changes that you increase or decrease your revenue. And if your revenue increases, so you get a little bit more just with doing the same, just selling it a little bit different, then yeah, the consequence is, okay, you did something at the front, you have more money, and then you go into the company. So it means you then adjust maybe the product, you adjust your marketing material, and with this slightly, or with this step-by-step culture change, you at some point you also end up in the management and also in HR. And when it comes to these topics, then we are out, because we're not the HR experts. We really focus on the client side. And I would say that's the main difference between traditional consulting companies, which for sure has also an importance when the company is extremely large. I mean, this approach we are consulting, this doesn't work for an international company with 20, 50,000 employees. This is just too complex, because there you may have to go the other way around. But also this this advices we gave to them, there can be implemented much faster with the smaller ones. And this also helps the startup. So a startup, of course, if it's a B2B, also there is the buyer can be a woman or someone with the next generation. At the end, it's always a person-to-person sales which exists. So it doesn't matter what kind of product you have to sell it as it is understood.
I'm curious. I mean, obviously, you're a man. So if you come along and try to explain to someone how to sell to women, do people ever give you, I don't know, a look, or are they confused about how you're the right guy to sell to women?
Mm. It's interesting. Usually, it starts different, because when I sell our service, people are even more open and listen to me compared to when Desiree is selling that. Because when a woman talks about women topics, then yeah, I don't know if I can say this here, but then it's like, oh yeah, it's another woman which talks about women things.
I
But
know what you're talking about. So.
yeah, but as a man, I would say it's sometimes much easier just to talk about these topics. And if a man talks to a man about this topic, then they get even more curious about, oh, okay, if this guy is talking about that, then there might be something really which helps
Mhm.
us as a client. And therefore, of course, there is always the person which says, we don't need that. And no, I know it much better. That's okay. And at the end, the service or the consulting we are doing with this respective client is anyway tailored to his needs. So it will not be only me which then tells him, hey, this is how you need to change your process. And sometimes, or mostly, it already starts when you just talk about the topic. So I think the best example is always if you and your husband or your boyfriend walk into a car dealer shop, and the salesperson just focus on your partner, and you may are the one with the money, or you're the one with the decision, and you may become parents soon, then the decision will not be just on him, it will be on both of you. And therefore, if the salesperson completely understand that might be just a little bit of a different communication needed, then the solution is already there without doing any consulting.
Mhm.
And the same problem exists also in financial industry, because, as you can imagine, it's everywhere where we have complex products, where in the past there was just a one-to-one communication between the clients or the customer person and the client itself. And now it's changing because of the facts I just mentioned before.
I find that really interesting that you said that when you talk to another man about it, that might actually be an even more open
Yeah.
communication than if a woman did that. I find that fascinating. But yeah, it's true. It's very true.